Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Kellen's Coffee Talk. I'm Kellen Ann, and I'm your host today. Today's show is sponsored by Blue Sky Video Production. They are also producing the show. In this new era of video and live streaming, it has become a staple. And to have a professional-looking show that is produced by someone who knows what they're doing is very important. And the best thing to do for you is to contact Bruce from Blue Sky Video Productions. You can see his information below. My guest today has spent 20 years headlining comedy in the comedy club circuit. He was told by his high school counselor he would never make it to college, and he was voted most likely not to succeed. It's with this very wonderful introduction that I present to you, Steve Rizzo.
Ta-da.
It makes you sound like, oh my, who's our guest? No.
I know. It was quite a label, but hey, I dealt
but
with
it gets better because this is a story of triumph. So back to, let's start from back, was it you were 13 or 14?
Mm-hmm.
And your counselor is saying you'll never teach, you'll never be able to go to college. In my research, you refer to that as negative labeling.
Yes.
And I'd like you to explain a little bit how that affected you while you were young, and
Sure.
then we can talk about how you changed that in your life.
Sure. Negative labeling happens to all of us on different levels. Some people are able to overcome it right away, but some people it sticks with them. The danger with negative labeling is that you're not aware that it's happening to you. Mm-hmm. So it's not just one thing that creates toxic beliefs inside you. It's a number of things that reinforce all the other negative stuff. So when I was in 8th grade, that guidance counselor told me in front of my mom and dad, we were there talking about what I was going to do when I get out of high school. And I said, well, I want to be a teacher. And at that point, he said, well, I don't think so. And my mom and dad looked at him, and my dad said, well, what do you mean you don't think so? Well, let's just say he doesn't have what it takes to go to college. And what I heard was, I'm not smart enough. And I kind of thought that anyway. So not only did I let this person tell me what I couldn't do, I let him tell me what he thought I should do. And the danger with this is that my mom and dad back in the day, they were from the old school of thought. They figured this man's got to know what he's talking about. Look at his title, guidance counselor. If he doesn't know, who does know? So after that, I felt disappointed because I felt I let my parents down. And I thought I shrugged that off, and I just went on with my life. And then in my senior year, I saw a list that was in a guidance counselor's office, and it said most likely to succeed, best class clown. And then I saw most likely not to succeed, and I was on a list with like 13 people. And I realized that those type of negative labelings molded the direction for most of my life. And they did it on an unconscious level. Your subconscious runs 97% of your life. And if these negative reinforcements build up, and every time you try to do something and it doesn't work, rather than trying to do it again and learn from it and keep going until you succeed, you quit, because that negative loop says you're not smart enough, don't do this, you're going to make a fool out of yourself. And it took me 5 years after high school before I went to college. And the only reason why I went to college is because I had a brother who is 100% disabled as a result of the Vietnam War, the only man in medical history that ever survived that wound. And when he got out of the hospital and he went to college and he became an incredible success, he actually literally grabbed me by the hand, took me to college with him, and let me sit in all of his classrooms for 2 weeks, reinforcing that I can do this. And he never really even gave me an option. He looked at me as the Marine that he still is, said, you're doing this, and I'm going to make sure you do it. And I did do it. And I wound up graduating with high honors and blah, blah, blah. Went on to be a teacher at the same school that I graduated from. The same school that I graduated from, where I was voted least likely to succeed. I was a counselor for kids with behavioral problems, and I was an English teacher. And
I bet that was good.
yeah. Well, right from there, part-time, I started doing stand-up comedy at the comedy clubs
Hmm.
in the Long Island, New York area. And then I started getting really good at a very fast rate, and decided after 2 years or 3 years of the counseling and teaching, I quit and I became a national headlining comedian with my own Showtime special. As a
Did
matter
your
of fact, Woody Harrelson, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
Oh, no, go ahead.
but this
Yeah.
is pretty cool. I was sitting backstage as Woody Harrelson was about to bring me on. He goes, I want a better introduction from you. Woody Harrelson was hosting my special. And he said, let's give them something exciting. What can I say to them? And they said, well, tell them you're going to bring up somebody who was voted least likely to succeed in his senior class in high school. And now he's here at the Sands Hotel in Atlantic City with his own Showtime special. And that's the way he introduced me. And every week for years, I would look at that and my reinforcement of myself started solidifying, and I turned that negative into a positive.
That's great. So it's safe to say that your brother was the most impactful thing that helped you with your shift.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. He defied the odds. And
I mean, I'm not sure everybody knows a lot. He went to the hospital. They didn't expect him to live. And
right.
Why don't you tell about that? It's an amazing story.
Well, 21 feet of his small intestine were either blown out on the battlefield or taken out on the operating table. And I'll never forget the first time that I saw him in St. Albans Naval Hospital in Queens, New York. If it hadn't been for my mom and dad in the room with him, I never would have known it was him, because he went from 168 pounds to 94 pounds. And in the room with my mom and dad were his two friends from high school and his Marine Corps buddy, whom he had gotten wounded with. And the whole day, my brother was going in and out of consciousness. And it was at the end of the day when the doctor said to my mom and dad, I'm sorry, but it doesn't look like he's going to make it, not even through the night. I'll never forget the look on my mom and dad's face, and his two friends from high school walked out of the room. And his Marine Corps buddy, I remember, was just staring at the wall and saying why to no one in particular. And I noticed something strange was happening to my brother. He's supposed to be unconscious, but I noticed that his hand was rising so slowly, and he clenched his chest, and up came his middle finger. And right then and there, I knew he was going to succeed somehow. And through the months and then years, he defied the odds. And he's an incredible success story. Still cranking today.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Sure.
So you're at the top of and heading up of your comedic game. And then you have a quote that it says, don't let the laughter fool you.
Right.
So you had another shift.
Yep.
And let's talk about that.
Yeah. That was a hard shift. As a matter of fact, that was harder than the fear I had going to college, because the fear I had going to college was overwhelming, because those negative labels keep saying to you, you're not going to do this. What if you do this? And blah, blah, blah. So I kept having this calling. There was a point in my comedy career where I realized every time I was on stage, whether it was at a college or at a theater or at a comedy club, I was well aware that there were people in the audience experiencing challenging times of some kind. And maybe they're going through a divorce, having financial difficulties. Maybe they or a loved one or experience health issues. But I was well aware that for those few hours at the comedy club, their challenges and their problems didn't own them, simply because they were allowing themselves to laugh. And I came up with a phrase: laughter is the pit stop in the rat race of life, and that it gives you enough emotional fuel and repairs to get back into the race again. But the initiative and the proficiency by which we allow ourselves to laugh comes from what I call your humor being. And everyone has a humor being within them. Your humor being is of your higher self. It's the part of you that brings out the best in you when times get really tough. And what your humor being can give you more than anything else is emotional stability. And this vision, this thing about this humor being came to me in the middle of my comedy career, and I kept investigating it, and I kept delving into it. And from there, I started figuring out that human nips negative thought patterns in the bud before emotional havoc blossoms. And then I started reading all these self-help books about the power of your thoughts. And I read Norman Vincent Peale and Napoleon Hill and Wayne Dyer. And it was at a Tony Robbins seminar where something clicked. And I noticed the thousands of people that he was encompassing. And I don't remember doing this, consciously doing this. I picked up a pen, I wrote on a piece of paper. And as Tony was talking, and I'm saying, I can do this. And then I put the pen down, and maybe another 10 or 15 minutes went by. I picked up the pen again, and they said, I should do this. Then I put the pen down, and then I said, hell, I'm going to do this. Didn't even know I wrote it. I have that paper now hanging over my bed. It's framed. And then I knew I was on this quest, but that fear-based part of me, the big mouth inside my head, the ego, kept saying, you can't leave this business of comedy now. You sacrificed over 20 years of your life. And this is at the pinnacle of your career. The industry is so interested in you. And you could make it in your own sitcom, and you can be in the movies. And every time that voice came up, it kept stifling the fact that I should be doing something else. But eventually, I reached out to that higher part of myself through a lot of prayer and a lot of meditation, and I followed my heart. And everyone, all the comedians, famous people now said it was the dumbest thing. Why are you doing this? My roommate was Drew Carey at the time, and we had an argument. He said, you can't leave. You can't leave. You're so close to making it. And I said, how can I be so close to making something that I don't even want anymore? I'm going for this, and that's all there is to it. And I did. And it happened real fast because of my sense of humor. And that's why you said that phrase. And I use this on my website. Yeah, he's funny. He's a funny motivational speaker. He's a funny personal development speaker, but don't let the laughter fool you. Mm-hmm. So what I do now with people, I use laughter as a guise, and I captivate the audience with that. And then I gradually show them how to shift their focus and their way of thinking to discover increased productivity, greater enthusiasm, and new levels of success. And that's what I do.
And they don't know you're doing it either.
No, they don't even know that they're having so much fun. That's the key to laughter. You're affecting different parts of your psyche when people are being entertained, and then they're gradually learning step by step what I call my common sense success strategies. And they are, because they're innate with us. It's just that we get so caught up on the crap of life that we don't know we have strategies that can help us to deal with every problem we're confronted with. But when you're having fun while you're learning, it's quite an experience, because you walk away saying, I feel good, but then all of a sudden later on, you're going, wow, I remember what that guy said. And wow, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And every one of my common sense success strategies are based on these three principles. This is what I offer people. This is how I live my life. The first principle is, you have to know without a doubt that you are the creator of your success and happiness. The second principle is, you have to know that you are the only problem that you will ever have. And somewhere within you, there is always a solution waiting to be discovered. You just have to learn how to get the hell out of your own way to find that solution. And the third principle is, which is the most important, whenever you're confronted with a challenge or a situation of any kind, regardless of its magnitude, it's really never a matter of managing the situation. It's always a matter of how you manage your mind. Can you manage your mind and those thoughts and those emotions that are keeping you from finding that solution that's waiting to be discovered?
Nice. So I think you took a year to find yourself and define where you wanted to be and who Steve Rizzo really is. Were you happy with what you found? Was it scary?
I only found that I still didn't find myself.
Okay.
I experienced a couple of years of ecstasy and of joy, and now I'm in a situation now, and I don't mind being vulnerable right now, because my two greatest gifts that God ever gave me was my sense of humor and my ability to tell a kick-ass story. I do that. I do it very well. But I recently, in the past 5 years, have found another strategy, and it's being vulnerable. And I don't mind doing it. And I'm at a point now where I'm still going through, after 5 years of a 34-year divorce. I lost a lot of stuff. It hit me hard. The divorce affected me, and other stuff, business-wise, affected me so much that I got up one morning and I said, I'm going to California. I live on Long Island. I'm going to California. And I'm saying, and I'm arguing with myself. I'm going, and by the way, I argue with myself with different voices. So it's really kind of weird. And then I said, this is what I have to do. And within 2 weeks, my friends, my family, they were begging me. They thought I was having an emotional breakdown. And perhaps I was. I was in a depression. And I moved to California. I lived in Marina Del Rey for 2 years. And there I said, I'm going to face my demons. I'm going to find out who the real Stephen Francis Rizzo really is. Something happened to me within maybe 4 months being there. And I got to a real emotional state. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. I was walking on Venice Beach. And I remember screaming out loud, what the hell is wrong with me? And what the hell am I doing here? And I took another step. And no sooner had I taken that step, I heard something from within me say, you know what's wrong, and you know why you're here. You're just too caught up in your own damn drama to find the answer. And I knew I was onto something. And I ran home, and I opened up my laptop in my apartment on Marina Del Rey, and I started typing, and then I would go to my pad and write, and I would ask another question. Then I would get another answer. Then I would ask another question, another answer, and I realized I was having a conversation with a higher part of myself, whatever part you want to call it, the thoughts, the God part. But I wrote this book called Conversations with Bob. I'm not going to tell you what it's about, but it's the best thing I ever did. And I realized, and this is how life works, and I hope your listeners get this. Sometimes through our greatest challenges and through our greatest pains evolve our greatest blessings. This is the best thing that I've ever done in my life. My dear friend Jeffrey Gitomer, read it. I always valued his opinion, and the few people that I showed the book to flipped out over it. It's my life. It's a conversation between two people, nice. And it's the one person, and they're both. The one person is right from the negative zone, who is a part of everybody, and the other person is Bob, who is a part of everybody. Nice. So that's what the book is about.
Well, I have two people that want to join us. So let's see. Bruce can bring in Jeffrey.
Oh, Jeffrey's there.
Coach Bill. Jeffrey.
Oh, hey, Rizzo. I want to thank you for talking about California as a place that you moved away from, and New York as a place that you moved back to. Both are in a bit of turmoil at the moment, but Rizzo's humor is what will carry people through anything. He's just a funny guy. And we've known each other for more years than really I want to talk about. But I'm just telling you, if you follow what he has written and you listen to what his philosophy is about the process of humor and how it plays a role in your life, you win. I teach my daughter, who's 11, even though I should not have an 11-year-old daughter. I teach my daughter to think funny first. And I'll give you an example. 3 weeks ago, in her room, she's dancing, and she stepped on a shard of glass and started to bleed. And I mean, she was in panic mode, if you know what I mean, crying, screaming. Jennifer, my wife, runs in to try to, she's all panicked. To come to our, lay down in bed. We'll get the glass out. No, it's going to hurt. I mean, this kid was crying like hell. Finally, the glass comes out, and Jen says, "I'm going to take you in the bathroom, and we're going to, fix it up." And she goes, "No, don't touch me." And she picks Gabrielle up like a child, like a little baby. And as she's carrying her off into the bathroom, I see Gabrielle looks over Jennifer's shoulder, goes like this. That just tells you that here's a kid who thinks funny. We were walking toward the beach. The three of us were walking toward the beach, and Jen, my wife, goes, "It smells like a fish store here." And Gabrielle goes, Jen, this is where the fish live before they get to the store.
Oh, that's great.
That is funny.
So that's a great line.
And now think about how funny things can relax you. And it actually reminds you of your funny things. Like I just told 2 stories about my kid. I guarantee you half the audience is thinking about funny things that happened to their kid every time.
Well, absolutely. Exactly right. I love the way people are finding humor with the COVID-19 stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's hysterical.
No, I was at a supermarket a couple of weeks ago, and I heard this woman. She's, everyone has their mask on, and they look all depressed. They all remind me of that cartoon character, Droopy Dog. Remember? Boy, how long am I gonna have to wear this mask? These people walking up this aisle with an arrow in this one. And so anyway, this woman's walking by, and she apparently went and passed one of her friends, and the friend said, "Sarah." She goes, "Hi, it's me. It's me, Rebecca." And she goes, "Oh, Rebecca, how are you?" And she goes, "I'm fine, but you don't look, what's wrong?" She goes, "Oh, this COVID thing is destroying me. I'm used to working 24/7. I get up in the morning and I get my kids ready, and my husband takes them to work and he makes sure they eat dinner, and now I'm with them. I'm not working 24/7 and they're home 24/7. She goes, "I really thought I loved them, but now I realize I don't think I love them all that much." As soon as she said that, I was laughing my ass off. And her girlfriend started laughing. Then she realized what she said. Then she started laughing. That's what we need. It's the bounce back factor.
I agree. There's not and the worst part about the mask is you can't even tell when people are smiling.
No, I know. Oh, I know.
On my show this morning, some guy from Lubbock, Texas said no one's wearing a mask anymore in Lubbock.
Oh, that's great.
I think it's sort of the beginning of the end. I'm hopeful of it, but I don't want anybody to get sick. I don't want anybody to get worried, but I do want people to realize the reality of it is that I don't think it's as needed right now as much as it once was.
Yep.
And that's all I'm saying. And I had a flat tire. I had a flat tire. I stop on my way back to the chiropractor. I stop at the Lexus dealer. I go in, I go, "Hey, I got a flat tire." And I hang out with the general manager who I've known since he was the service manager. And the car business is booming right now because there's not enough cars and people want them. Yeah. I think we're about to experience something economically that's going to be amazing in terms of recovery.
No, I agree.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think, especially in our business, I think it's going to pick up tremendously.
So
people,
I mean, our business ain't coming back anytime soon. I give seminars now to my family, and the UPS guy comes. I give him a little seminar. The electrician was here yesterday. I gave him a little seminar just to kind of keep him practice. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm
doing a lot of virtual stuff now, so
everything's virtual.
And people ask me, I get calls from other speakers who are funny, and some who think they're funny, and
most of them.
And they go, "How do you make people laugh virtually?" I said, "If you're funny, it shouldn't be a problem. Do it.
Right.
Just do it." Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Cool. But what's happening right now is something that no one can say, "Hey, the last time this happened, no, there was no last time."
Yeah,
this is the first time. And people have to get ready to get out there. And if they don't get out there with a little bit of humor, they got problems.
Oh, absolutely. Well, sometimes it'll backfire. 2 days ago, I was at my bank and I was walking in, and it was a big old guy, and he was in back of me. And the woman who was waiting at the door that worked there and said, "Excuse me, sir, excuse me," because he took his mask off. And she said, "You have to put the mask on. You have to put the mask on." He goes, "I'm sorry. I forgot. The last time I put a mask on at a bank, I was holding it up." So no one laughed. I was hysterical.
Exactly.
He goes, "I guess I shouldn't have said that."
So, Kellen, anytime you want to throw me off, I'm fine. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
Thank you for showing up.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
I appreciate it.
Can you keep a secret?
Yeah.
Secretly, I love Rizzo, and I like hanging around. Just platonically, of course. but just an absolutely great guy. Great guy.
It looks like Michelle is digging Steve Rizzo as well.
Oh, well, there you go. So that's
You're being dug, Steve.
opportunity.
Phil, I want to get to meet and know Rizzo. Well, have him be on your show, Coach Phil.
Absolutely.
But if you guys need to understand any more about Rizzo, I actually know the truth.
Absolutely. So you better knock it off, Mo. It's really not that funny.
No, my voicemail on my phone, which I don't give to anybody, is Steve Rizzo.
I know you wanted to text you. I don't have your number.
Exactly. Phil has my number. He'll give it to you, Kellen.
His voicemail is me doing all of the three speakers. I'll do it for you now.
Do it.
If you call Jeffrey, this is what you'll hear. Hey, Mo, somebody's on the phone, wants to talk to Jeffrey. What do I tell him? Why, you idiot, you just tell him there ain't no one home. Yeah, and tell him to leave a message, answer the beep. What beep? This one. Oh, hey, come on, fellas. Quit fooling around. Gitomer's going to be here soon, and we got work to do. Beep.
That's
I'm telling you, it's just, it's hysterical. It's so hysterical. My voicemail used to say, Jeffrey, I'm not here right now. Just leave your American Express card number and that expiration date, and I'll get right back to you. And people would leave their number. They literally leave their Amex number.
That's scary.
But then I got rid of that, and I got Rizzo's thing, and I value it to the highest.
Well, Jeffrey and I met when I was doing stand-up comedy at the Comedy Zone in Charlotte. That's how we met. I didn't even know I was going to be a speaker then. It was like a year after when he saw me at a National Speakers Association workshop. He said, "What the hell are you doing here?" I said, "I want to become a speaker." He said, "Why?" He said, "Why? What is wrong with you?" But then I did, and that's when we became really good friends.
Totally crazy. Yeah, the world
is says Rizzo for Prez.
Well, and people would be impressed, like, "Oh, hey, you know Steve Rizzo?" It's not that big of a deal. I got to tell you, it's like
it really is. I've known me for a long time. I've never seen the worth.
Exactly.
That's my negative labels coming back.
We have had a tremendous amount of fun in weirdo places together, Rizzo and I.
Yeah. And this is what we say. When Jeffrey and I are together, we're sitting, it could be anywhere, and we're laughing so hard we can't say anything. All you'll see is the two of us going.
Exactly.
That's what we say.
It's funny. We're very blessed to be friends, I can tell you that.
Absolutely.
But we're going to be spending in the post-COVID period, which I'm going to call the biggest economic recovery boom in the history of mankind. We'll spend a few days together at each other's places somewhere, and I'm going to give Gabrielle a full dose of Steve Rizzo because she hasn't seen it. Yeah. She hasn't seen it. Well, Rizzo's clean now. He used to be blue. Now he's
blue. I was.
He put the B in blue. I'll just say that.
But it was blue, non-offensive blue.
No,
so, you know, I wasn't gross blue. I was,
Well.
Okay, back to the interview, gentlemen.
Oh. Okay, well, yeah. Kellen, Phil will send you my cell. Please text me when you get it, and we'll figure out what to do. And I will recommend that Rizzo go on Coach Phil's show so that y'all can have a real good time together. I'm going to go back to watching and being a participant, if that's cool with you guys.
That's so cool. Thank you, Jeffrey.
It's a pleasure. Get me out of here.
Love you.
Love you, Rizzo.
I'll call you later on. Got to talk to you about something.
Yeah, have your people call my people. I'm busy today.
Don't worry about it. Talk to you later.
Oh, that was great.
Oh God, that was nice. That was cool. See, my whole you've got to feel better right now. I feel so much better.
You didn't feel good before that?
No, not at all. I didn't want to do this at all.
Okay, we're done. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Now you have the droopy dog syndrome. I feel like you did a good job.
So all of this brings me to another quote that you have, and it's kind of your mantra is to see see the funny when confronted with stress.
Yeah.
And that resonated with me. And that's kind of defined what you do, who you are, and where you're going. So this is actually the last part of the show. And one of the things in your videos is people say, "What do you do?" So do you want to tell our audience your definition?
Definition of what I do for a living?
Just what do you do?
Just I show people how to start each day with an unstoppable attitude to succeed, regardless of their circumstances. That's what I do, and that's the key phrase, regardless of your circumstances, because we all know it's great to go through your day motivated and feeling inspired when everything's going your way. But what do you do when life isn't going your way? When you're hit with major problems, tons of confrontation, what's your attitude like then? And I show them how to live with that, how to turn that around, and how to turn these challenging times into opportunities, and that it's all a part of life, and how to view it as a lesson in life 101, not the apocalypse.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, I am so honored that you were my guest today. And on some of our shows, we have a trivia question, and then you offer a prize to the person who guesses the correct answer. Did you want to give away one of your books, or what would you like to do?
Yeah, I can give away one of my books.
Okay. So first of all, to answer the question, you have to message me in Facebook Messenger, and the first person to get the answer correct will get the prize, and then we'll get everything to you. So, so what did you figure out what your question was going to be?
Yes.
Okay.
You ready? I'll ask the question. You want me to ask the question now?
I don't think they can guess it without knowing it.
I don't think so either. Okay. Who is my favorite comedian of all time?
Oh, interesting. Okay, so the question is out there. I like to give my guests this part of the show to, people that'll be watching this later, what is the message you'd like to give to them? Do you have something, a new project that you're working on that you'd like to talk about? This is your time right now, so you can talk about whatever you would like.
You talking to me?
Yeah, well, I'm not talking to Jeffrey.
Well, this is good, but so it's like an open forum for me right now.
Yeah.
Right. I think, what I'd like to say is, I quite often get from a lot of people, do you miss stand-up? Do you miss, the fact that you could be on stage and command an audience? And the only thing I miss about stand-up comedy right now is my freedom to say what it is that I want. But even now, comedy has its restrictions. But I think the most important thing a person could ever ask of themselves is to follow their heart's desire. That is crucial. And it's not about money. It's not about prestige. It's not about fame. It's not about fortune. It's about, excuse me, following your heart. And it's not an easy thing to do. But if you do, life becomes miraculous. Life becomes easier because you're living it on your terms. Sometimes people make a mistake and they strive for the things that they want instead of striving for what they need. I have found that more often than not, what you want feeds the ego. What you need fulfills your soul. And every now and then you've got to stop and ask yourself, which one am I feeding? But following your heart, I think it's crucial. I think if you have children, you should be guiding them to follow their heart, what it is that they love, not what you want them to do. Sometimes following your heart means that you're in a job where you're making great money, but your heart keeps saying, I want to do something else. I should be doing something else. and then you avoid it. And I think sometimes you look back and you say, maybe I should have, or what would have happened had I done that? And I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying it's really important to follow your heart. How's that?
That's fabulous. And Michelle, let's see, we got some comments here. Jeffrey, he helps people spend their corporate entertainment budgets until there's none left. That's a great deal.
Yeah, you can't lose, as Jeffrey was saying too, you cannot lose the ability to laugh. Mm-hmm. And it's like people say, well, you're a comedian. It's easy to be funny when something stressful happens. And that's not the point. Remember I said we all have a humor being. Your humor being is a part of you that brings out the best in you when times get really tough. So when I say it's not so much that you could be funny in the midst of a stressful situation. What I'm saying is it's important that you see the funny. And you might not be able to see the funny in an event that's happening right at that moment. But the more you hold on to that stressful situation throughout the day, the worse it gets, the more impactful it gets. And then before you know it, it becomes a part of who you are. And and then what happens is that somebody asks you, what's wrong? And then you relive the story over again and you tell somebody else. And before you know it, you're stuck in that zone. So what I'm saying is it's funny to see the funny at some point throughout the day. There is funny everywhere, everywhere. You just have to be in tune and unleash and tap into the power of your humor being to see it. Maybe if you're really stressed out and you're just going for a walk somewhere and you see two little kids playing, doing something, and one kid says something really ridiculous to the other, allow yourself to laugh, because most people would just say, and they're zoned out because they're still pissed off about what happened to them early that morning. But if you allow yourself that moment to at least smile, you're sending a message to your subconscious, as I said, that runs 97% of your brain. And your subconscious is going to go, wow, that elevated your overall degree of happiness right there. Let's keep doing that. Let's keep doing that. And the more you do it, and the more you become aware that you do it, in other words, you just say, wow, I just laughed, and just 10 seconds ago, I was really pissed off. Your subconscious will remind you, remember what happened to you the last time. You found some laughter somewhere, hold on to it and build from there. And before you know it, you don't even have to think about it. It becomes a part of who you are. Does that make sense?
Completely.
Yeah.
Best advice I think this group will ever get. Well, thank you so much. You brought so much value to my show today, and I am blessed that you were here. Thank you again. Again, my sponsor is Blue Sky Video Productions. Bruce is my producer, and if you need someone to make your show run as seamlessly as this, you need to contact him. Next week, my guest is Joe Soto, so make sure you guys tune in next Tuesday. And thanks for popping on in my new time. And Steve, thanks for adjusting your schedule to my new time. I got to sleep in an extra hour today.
You are wonderful. I wish you the best, and he's great. You are great at what you do, my friend. Thank you so much. You really are. This is a wonderful production. And I will be contacting you. As a matter of fact, Kellen, if you can, you have my phone number, right?
Yep.
If you can call me at some point today, I would appreciate it. There's other things I'd like to discuss with you if you can.
Oh, sure.
All right.
See, Jeffrey, Steve gives me his phone number.
So you actually missed the entire premise of the show. Being on the show is a self-promotion. You've been so helpful and so informational, but there's no real monetary enticement for you to be again. So what is your call to action, Steve? and how do we follow you more to get?
Follow me more. You go to my website, steverizzo.com. There's a lot of stuff there. Go to my YouTube channel. Sign up for my Rizzogram, which is on the home page. The home page, you sign up for it. Every week you'll get an article or a video on my message. A lot of it is funny. A lot of it is very profound. It's pretty cool. And you can purchase my books that are on the home page there too. Motivate This, Get Your Shift Together. Oh, and I'll let you know something else. And Kellen, I'll let both of you know this. I will be starting my podcast in 2 weeks. It's all being worked out now. It's going to be called Hey, I'm Talking Here. And I know it's a great title. So I'm a genius. What can I say? But you guys are great. I had a blast doing this. Whenever you want me to do it again, let me do it again. And Kellen, please contact me later on.
do that. Thank you so much. And everybody have a fabulous day.
Take care, all.
Thank you much. Thanks for being a show.
Thank you.
And we are out in 3,
That
2.
was so fun.
We're still live.
I don't care. It's just so
I'm
fun.
going. I can't leave now. I'm having too much fun.
Yeah, this is part 2.
You guys are great.
Actually, I've got my own live show in 20 minutes, so I got to prepare for that.
Can we keep talking? Are we done?
No, we're still live. Wait, let me
You want me to get off
I'm
there?
gonna hijack my show, and then
Okay, now we're off.
People
3,
still
2, 1. Thank you all for being here, and come back next